Wanted to have a little chat with you about the different types of ukuleles and the different tunings we have. This particular ukulele that I use is called a soprano ukulele, and this is the sort of size that most people use. It's not the smallest. There is one called a Soprano, which is quite rare, which is even shorter than this. The scale length, and that means the distance from the nut to the bridge on this ukulele, is about 14 inches. So anything between 13 and 14 inches, we call that a soprano ukulele. There are bigger ones. There's a concert ukulele, which is 15 inches, a little bit longer scale length. The tenor, which is 17 inches. And there is also a baritone ukulele, which has a 19-inch scale length, but that is tuned the same as the top 4 strings of a guitar. So essentially it's a guitar with the 2 bass strings missing. So those are the sort of the main 5 types. There are other weird and wonderful things, but they're the main 5. But we tend to use mainly a soprano ukulele. That's the most common one in the world that most people play. The advantage of the bigger ones, of course, if you're a full-size person like me, you might find a soprano ukulele a little bit tight room-wise, but I've got quite thin fingers, so I'm fairly lucky. But if you find you're very cramped with a soprano, then maybe go for a tenor ukulele, and that might be better for you. There's not a lot of point going for a baritone, particularly because, as I say, it is just a cut-down guitar. There are lots of different ways to tune the ukulele. The most common is what we call reentrant tuning, which sounds a bit flash, but what that means is that we have notes descending like they do on the guitar. We have an A first string, an E second string, a C third string, so they're running down, much like a guitar does, but then we have this note popping up out of nowhere, this G, which is actually only a tone lower than the A, the first string. So it kind of, I suppose it kind of re-enters, if you know what I mean. The note kind of re-enters the field of play, as it were. So I suppose that's why it's called that. It's very flash, but it doesn't, you know, it's nothing to be frightened of. All it means is you have 3 notes dropping down, then it has this G popping up there. As I say, it's sort of out of nowhere. But basically, it is related to the guitar in the sense that if you were to put a capo on the 5th fret and play the top 4 strings, you'd have the same notes, but the only difference would be this note would be an octave lower. So it kind of jumps up an octave, if you like. And when we play the strings across, that gives us a C6th tuning. So in other words, when you strum the open strings of a soprano uke, and it's tuned up properly, you'll hear a C6th chord. If you only play the 3 strings nearest the ceiling, that's actually a C major chord. Some people like to tune these smaller ukuleles a tone higher to what we call D6th tuning. So if I cover the 2nd fret, the open strings would sound like that with D6 tuning. Some people think they sound a bit sweeter in that key. But the most common tuning is the My Dog Has Fleas tuning there. And the reason I say that is because most people check their tuning by singing the song, My dog has fleas. Okay, I have this silly sentence that I say to give me the notes, starting from the floor going upwards. Aliens eat chocolate giants, and just reverse that. Giant chocolates eat aliens, and the first letter of those words gives us the names of the open strings. You know, there are lots of other weird and wonderful tunings, but basically those are the most common. And by far the most common of all is the C6th tuning, the My Dog Has Fleas tuning, and this is what this ukulele is tuned to.